What's up everyone? So in this video I'm gonna go over how to set up macros for order entries and how to attach hotkeys to those macros so you can execute those quickly. It will seem like a lot, but once you set it up and you go through the whole process and you get used to it, it's definitely worth it. It will speed up executing orders by a lot. So if you're trading breakouts and things like that, it's going to be extremely useful. If anything I do in terms of using TradeStation doesn't make sense to you and you don't have like a basic setup going already and like a basic understanding of TradeStation, make sure to watch my first video, and I will also note down any other useful information and add some links in the description. So let's get to it. Okay, so in order to actually set up a hotkey to make an order, you have to do two things. You click on the review, shortcuts, and then these two things are related. First you have to create the macro, meaning like the function or sort of like the script to execute an order at a certain price, whether that's bid, ask, or mid, and you then assign a hotkey to that macro by clicking hotkeys. Okay, so let me give you an example. So first thing you're gonna do is create the macro that you're later gonna execute with the hotkey. So you're gonna do view, shortcuts, macros. Let's say you want to make a macro for buying one contract at the ask price. You're not already gonna have this here. All of this, I had to kind of create manually. So, in order to create one, you're gonna click create. And in my case, I'm just gonna open this. It's just gonna be faster. Whoops. Macros. Okay, edit. But yeah, when you click create, you're gonna go through the same process. So, anyways, send the order because you want the order to execute immediately when you press the hotkey. What do you want this macro to allow orders on? So in my case, it's options. You could add shares if you want to, but I just trade options. Next, active symbol, so just whatever option you already selected, and then quantity. Just in this case, we're doing one contract, so we're gonna write one here. Next, trade bar account. So yeah, just whatever account you're logged into, unless you have more than one account, which yeah, I think it basically just executes the order on whatever account you logged into. So next, you want to keep the route unintelligent, duration on day, so that if you for some reason forget to cancel an order, it will just cancel on its own at the end of the day. And then this is the stuff you're going to change. So if you're buying a contract or a share, you're going to use buy to open. If you're selling a contract, you're going to do sell to close. If you want to short, that's when you sell to open, because you're selling, but you're opening a trade. And then if you want to close that short position, you're buying the share back, and it's closing the order. But for our purposes, if you're just, let's say, flipping premiums or buying shares and then selling them later to close the trade, you're just going to do buy to open and sell to close. Okay, so we're going to do buy to open because we want to do buy one contract. Okay, so order type limit. You should be familiar with limit and market orders. And then in this case, we want to buy at ask. Yeah, just select ask. If you wanted to buy at bid, you could select bid. If you want to buy at mid price, you're gonna select split. In TradeStation they call it split. You're not gonna see mid price anywhere, so you would select split. This is useful if if you're buying, let's say, before a breakout, you want to buy at the mid price so you get the best execution price. But if you're let's say buying right at the breakout, like the breakout is already happening, there's a ton of orders going through, you want to buy at ask price. And the reason for that is if you try to buy at mid price by the time that order reaches like their servers, you know, it takes a split second, but by the time it happens, there's already so many orders going through where that the price might be very slightly higher than that mid price, and all of a sudden your order is not going through. So that's why you want to buy at ask price to maximize the chance of that order actually going through when there's a lot of orders going through on the order flow, or you know, just like at a breakout basically. Okay, so buy, limit, ask, and yeah, and just name it something. I like to put an X in front of it just so they kind of stand out and they're all in like this one list next to each other. So we're buying one at the ask price. Next, play beep. That's fine. This way you know that you know, the hotkey actually registered, and you don't want this checked because this will force you to sort of like confirm the macro every time. So you don't want to do that. That's going to slow you down. And finish. So now you're going to have this new macro here. Okay, so now in order to actually assign a hotkey to the macro you just made, click View, Shortcuts, Hotkeys. Find your hotkey. It's going to be under Order Entry Macros. Scroll down. Okay, so here's our buy ask one. And let's say we want to assign like I don't know, you want to get a little crazy, so Control Alt Shift 8 for whatever reason, which I know it doesn't make sense, but Control Alt Shift 8, you're gonna press those 3 keys on your keyboard and click Assign, and now you have Control Alt Shift 8 assigned. You know, I'm gonna remove it because I personally use Control Alt 1. So let me show you how I have it set up in case you know, you want to set it up in a similar way. I have Control Alt 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for buying at ask. I have Control Shift 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 you know, for buying at mid price, split. And then for selling, I have Shift 1 through 5, selling at bid. And then to sell at mid, I have Alt Shift 1 through 5. And there's a couple things with that. So I didn't bother setting up buy at bid because most of the time it's not actually going to execute you at bid. You know, the safest bet is mid price. And besides, even if you buy at the mid price or split, oftentimes it will actually execute you below that price, so you'll actually get a better price anyways. And then a similar thing with selling. I set up selling at bid so you can get out quick, and then sell at mid price so you can get out at a good price. But you know, I didn't set it up. I didn't set up selling at ask because most of the time it's not actually gonna execute you at ask, because you know, obviously the price is above the mid price or the currently traded price. So yeah, I just have those four. And the other thing is, you know, you see I use combinations of Control Alt and Shift, and that's because I don't think you can really use any other modifiers. It has to be Control, Shift, or Alt, or a combination of them plus another key. I don't think you could like make a combination with, let's say, like, I don't know, page up and 1 and like page up and 2. I don't think that's gonna work. Let's actually try it. Yeah, so if I press page up and 1, it just doesn't work. So you're kind of forced to use Control Alt Shift combinations. So if you know, you're welcome to use the ones I have, and I definitely recommend putting it on a, you know, like a sticky note somewhere next to you, you know, just to get used to those. And the other thing you can do is, you know, you can buy one of those like macro boards. I forgot what they're called, like the streaming deck, or you know, wherever that's called. And then you can actually assign these to different keys. I have one that I use personally. You can see in the camera here. It's a cheap one on Amazon. Takes a little bit of setting up, but basically it allows me to press, you know, like the first key. I have it set up so I can buy one at ask, buy one at mid. You know, if I go further, it's buy 2 at mid, buy 3 at mid. I skip these, the ones in the middle, and then, you know, if I want to sell, I can sell 1 at mid, sell 2 at mid, and then sell 1 at bid, sell 2 at bid, sell 3 at bid, etc. But that's totally optional. Before I got this thing off Amazon, you know, I was just using the Control Alt Shift keys, and I didn't really have any issues with that. The only thing I would say is if you try to if you try to type something in TradeStation, so for example, you're, you know, if you click on a chart, or let's do the time in sales. Let's say I want to change this to Apple. It's pretty easy. I just start typing Apple, APPL, enter. Oh, I'm sorry, AAPL, enter. But if I wanna put in like a @ symbol, which some things will require that. I think for, like if you want to pull up maybe VIX or maybe futures, you might need to use an @ symbol or something else. If you press Shift 2 here, it's gonna try to execute the order. So that's the only disadvantage to doing it this way. So really the only thing you can do at that point is, you know, take the @ symbol and just copy and paste it. So let's say I'm gonna type in A, delete it, paste the @ symbol, and then let's do like NQ. That's really the only way you can do the @ symbol, and it's slightly inconvenient, but you're not gonna be using like an @ symbol too often anyways. Okay, so let me give you an example here. Let's say we think Tesla's gonna start dropping here. So we're gonna select our Tesla put on the right, and the important thing is that once you select the put, let's say you click away, you click somewhere else, you gotta make sure you click on that put again, or a window that's linked to that put. So in this case, I have green here, like a green flag here, green, green, green. So if I click on any of these windows, I'm fine. It's gonna execute an order for the symbol that's attached to it, or that's linked to it, and that's that Tesla put. But if I click on this times in sales, which I have this link to just a Tesla symbol, it's gonna try to, you know, execute like 1 share of Tesla, and that's not what we want. So we want to make sure we clicked on one of these things and that the right contract is selected here. So let's select the put. Let's do Control Shift 1 to buy one put. Okay, and it didn't go through, partially probably because it's in the sim trader, so there's not as much volume. Like you have to actually wait for an order to go through here.
Order filled.
There you go. But usually it will order immediately. Now, let's say you're live trading and it doesn't go through, and it just gets stuck here. That just means that the price has moved up, and you gotta increase your bid, which is very simple. Can't show you right now, but basic, or maybe I can. Let's buy another one. Yeah, you just grab it, and then you just move it up, and then it will execute it. Again, we have to wait because it's sim trader. We gotta wait for another
order filled.
There you go. But yeah, you can just move those up. And same thing to sell. So in this case, we're gonna sell two contracts. Let's sell these at bid. So it sells ASAP. Click any one of these windows with the green attachment, and yeah, Shift 2, sell at bid. Order goes. Well, we have to wait for it to go through.
Order filled.
Yep. And yeah, there you go. And again, live trading, this happens pretty much immediately. You don't have to wait for an order to go through on the tape for the option. Okay, and I think that about wraps it up. So if you guys have any questions, if I missed anything or anything was unclear, feel free to leave a comment, and or you can message me on Instagram, which I'll link that in the description. And yeah, and I'll try to get back to you as soon as possible. And if this was helpful, I would appreciate a like. And yeah, that's all. Have a good one.